Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So, we hear Twitter freaks all the time talking about wanting to put artists in jail for their drawings and illustrations, and most of it's just talk and has nothing to do with relevant law. But today, we're dealing with a situation where a popular artist known as Shirakami-san is facing a 10-year prison sentence for some of their drawings and animations. Now, there's many tweets covering the situation, but this is arguably the most popular one and the one that's received the most feedback. It says Chinese artist Shirakami was raided and arrested for making not safe for work Genshin Impact animations. He might go to jail for 10 years. Nobody should go to jail for a drawing or an unrealistic animation being considered obscene. This is insane. And probably any reasonable person would look at this and go, wow, I don't think anyone, regardless of what that content looks like, should go to jail for 10 years for drawings and animations they've made of fictional content. But as you can see by the number of quotes, there is a lot of talk about this tweet and those like it. In fact, there's a lot of people celebrating this decision. They are not only celebrating the fact that this artist is going to jail, they're actually praising the Chinese Communist Party for having laws in place to get rid of people like this artist. Worse yet, a lot of the people celebrating this decision and praising the Chinese government are members of the LGBT. And if you know anything about how the LGBT is treated by the Chinese government, your mind is blown right now, and you have absolutely no way of understanding how any self-respecting person in the LGBT could bootlick the Chinese Communist Party that absolutely hates them, by the way. But nonetheless, we're going to look at these unhinged quote retweets soon enough. But I have to get out the obvious here, like the Twitter freaks will be angry about this video and me criticizing the Chinese government and communism. Like, please, I don't want to hear from some Twitter freak with 50 mental illnesses in their bio, who hasn't held down a job in their entire life, who still lives in their parents' basement. I don't want to hear from them about the best way to run society when they can't even tie their own shoes. Okay, like, I get it. I don't want to hear from Twitter freaks on this, and I think any reasonable person has some sort of a problem with what we're going to go over today. So here's an article going over the gist of the public information. Now, there's some language barriers here, but this is essentially what's going on, the general view of this situation. So it says, a Genshin Impact not safe for work 3D artist known as Shirakami has reportedly been arrested and will allegedly receive a 10-year prison time. Shirakami was a popular artist on Twitter with over 568,000 followers. It's actually over 600,000 since their last tweet in December of 2022. His arrest has garnered some attention on social media, so let's cover what is currently known about the latest reports on this subject. For those unaware, a lot of not safe for work content is technically illegal in China. Shirakami was known for making 3D not safe for work art of various Genshin Impact characters. Some reports suggest that he wasn't arrested solely for creating the content, but for profiting off it on Patreon, which, as we'll see when we look at the relevant laws, it seems like it's a mix of the two. It's making the not safe for work art, and the fact that they're profiting off of it on Patreon is more of an aggravating factor towards their sentence. So here is one of the relevant sections from China's criminal laws. It says, whoever for the purpose of profit produces, duplicates, publishes, sells, or disseminates pornographic materials shall be sentenced to fixed term imprisonment of not more than 3 years, criminal detention, or public surveillance, and shall also be fined. Now, this is a little bit further saying if the circumstances are serious, he shall be sentenced to fixed term imprisonment of not less than 3 years, but no more than 10 years, and shall also be fined. If the circumstances are especially serious, he shall be sentenced to a fixed term imprisonment of not less than 10 years or life imprisonment, and shall also be fined or be sentenced to confiscation of property. So this is the issue here. So not only is he making not safe for work content, that's very obvious. That already violates the law, but the issue here is that he is profiting from it. And he's making a pretty substantial profit from it as well, and that's why he's facing 10 years as opposed to just 3 years for the general law we were just looking at on the last section there. But here's some more information about this artist. So the above excerpt essentially states that Shirakami registered on a foreign platform, Patreon, and made profit-making money that was transferred to a domestic bank. This tweet shows how he was making around $3,500 per month. Shirakami has made 84 what they consider obscene animation works, and the police arrested him, sparking numerous rumors online. Due to the recency of the story and the obvious language barrier, much of the information on this topic is still in development. Until then, that's all we really know about this subject. But what we do know is there's a lot of people in the quotes to the original tweet celebrating this decision and its outcome. They are celebrating the fact that the Chinese Communist Party is putting a possible 10-year prison sentence on a man for drawing not safe for work art of Genshin Impact characters. Obviously, any sane person finds that to be ridiculous, but these people in the quotes are celebrating it, much like this user, who is summing up the kind of people reacting to this, and this last one is the most telling. So they're saying and describing these people as pedos wanting more clean, not safe for work art, and crying if they can't satisfy their deranged and illegal needs. So let's give a little background on this artist. We've been talking about their popularity, but not their actual posts. So I scrolled through their media tab and looked at their art that they have posted from the last 2 years. I have not seen a single image containing Klee. In fact, I have not seen a single image of any lolly characters from Genshin Impact. In fact, there wasn't even a single underage character posted in their media tab over the past 2 years. All of the arts featured on this account includes adult characters from Genshin Impact. Not only that, almost all of them are the bustier characters, like Yelan, for example, is one of the most featured characters by this artist. So there's nothing to do with Klee or Lolicon on this account. So I don't know why these people are projecting. They haven't even looked into the situation, and yet they're calling everyone pedos over the situation and saying that you're a pedo if you have a problem with a man getting 10 years taken off of his life over drawings. But here's another person. A lot of people are pointing out the fact that it appears that, or possibly appears, that this section right here is censored on this caption, and a lot of people are filling in the blanks. Personally, I think it just would be pornographic content, but a lot of people are pointing out that it's CP that they're censoring, the word CP, or, lolicon or something like that. So people are saying, like, obscene animations of what? Obscene animations of what? Well, regardless of what they actually posted, even if it was lolicon, it's depictions of drawings. I hope this helps. Any non-schizophrenic understands that. But going further, like I just pointed out, all of these characters are adult-aged. So even that leap you're trying to make doesn't even apply to this artist. So you're trying to get this smart little one-up on them, and you're literally pointing out the fact, making an argument that doesn't even apply to this artist. So congratulations on that. But this is the more disturbing aspect of the quote retweets. A lot of people from the LGBT celebrating this and praising the Chinese government. You have people like this with trans flags in their profile picture and in their bio saying, maybe G isn't so bad, referring to the leader of the Chinese Communist Party. Well, let's see what he's been up to recently. So he's actually been cracking down on the LGBT community and all of their advocacy groups. In fact, things have gotten so bad in that realm that there's almost no LGBT advocacy groups left in China. That's how bad things are over there when it comes to LGBT rights and advocacy. But no, he's based, right? Because he's banning the drawings. Meanwhile, he is criminalizing and trying to shut down support of people with your shared identity. That's what makes me sad. Seeing people so desperate to own the weirdos online who like not safe for work art to the point where you bootlick a leader and a party that hates you. That is really sad to see. But again, here's another user with flags in their bio that many of which are criminalized at certain levels. So I think this is a good opportunity just to give some people a taste of what the Chinese government has in terms of their laws and their treatment of LGBT groups. So here's some knowledge maybe people don't know about, but when it comes to media in the Chinese government, almost anything featuring LGBT themes or anything that resembles it is banned from the media. And that's been in place for almost a decade now. And now recently on social media, there's been a lot of talk this week. I don't know what spurred that on, but these things aren't new. there is state-enforced censorship of LGBT themes in the media, in Chinese media. In fact, even things that are effeminate, not even necessarily outright LGBT, but even things that are effeminate or don't fit normal social roles or gender roles, they're just outright banned from the media. But they're supporting this, people in the quote retweets. And in terms of trans people supporting China, I mean, you are technically allowed to be trans and identify as such in China, but you're only allowed that opportunity if you have surgery. So a lot of the people in the quote retweets, I would imagine, did not have surgery for this. Well, you wouldn't even be recognized by your desired gender in China, and yet you are celebrating them. But going on, I hope these people also support conversion therapy, which is still not banned in China. And also all these people talking about pedos. Well, guess what the age of consent in China is? It's 14. So yeah, that's the regime you're praising. And if you're saying, oh, well, Brad, this is just the government, you don't know what the average person views the LGBT in China. Well, most Chinese citizens do not support the LGBT, at least have a very glaring disdain for LGBT members. And that is very sad if you support this whole Chinese, whether it's the Chinese government or China as a whole, just because you want to own people over drawings. It's sickening. And you have people like this, again, projecting, saying, oh, owned. They own the base CCP is hunting down on the lolicons. Again, people on Twitter so obsessed with these themes that they will let it rot their minds to the point where they're rooting for genuinely evil people in the Chinese government. But nonetheless, that's the situation, a pretty depressing one, and I really hope everything works out. But honestly, being a realist, it doesn't look very good. And again, if you see people bootlicking the people behind these decisions, they're just not worth your time. They really aren't. They're just unhinged Twitter freaks who have absolutely no empathy for real life people going to jail in prison over drawings. But that's going to do it for this video. Please share all of your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.